Hey everybody, welcome back to Vintage Poorboy Survival on Elmcreek. This is Graybeard Gaming with you. So, glad to have you guys back. Now, we are currently doing a periodic plow of my fields, and over in the other field there, I've already got the periodic plowing done. We are just going through and seeding it. We're going to go with wheat in this field. The other field that we have to plow, we are going to go ahead and put barley. So yeah, we are going to go with barley just because I'm going to continue on with anything that will produce straw, but barley also will allow us to provide feed for our chickens. Now, I'm going to actually hire someone because I want to talk about stuff, and it's easier for me to talk when I don't have to pay attention to what I am trying to do in the field. Now, as you can see, we've got around $80,000. And if you've noticed anything in the 30s or so episodes here, I don't like holding on to money and saving it up for long term. It's kind of boring if you really want to know. But I have like a handful of items and things that I want to purchase. One of them is pigs, but I need to have a pig pen. So I've gone and I've found the one I want. I have not decided where we will place it. I'm kind of thinking, I'm thinking it'll go probably over by our garage, or it'll go back between these silos, and we'll just get rid of that little drive area that we've used, if I can squeeze it far enough back so we still have access to our silos. Those are kind of where I'm thinking, but I'm not going to do that right this second. What I think we can do, though, is we could spend some money in other ways. This plow, while it does the trick, I don't really like having this style of a plow that doesn't hook up on 3-point hitch. Just having a toe behind chisel plow, it's fine and it gets the job done, whatever, but it has a tendency to slip and slide a little too much left and right. Now, last episode when I was cultivating, because I wasn't gonna plow, I was gonna wait, but then I was like looking, and when I had sold hay for a contract, I noticed that I got a negative environmental score. So that led me to the thought of, well, maybe if I do my periodic plowing, I can even that out, because I don't want to just lose money whenever something's sold. So I decided that it's probably best if I go ahead and do my periodic plowing right now for these 2 fields that we have, and then we'll plow the other one. But I really don't want to sit there and do it with this plow if I can get something larger. And I can also afford, excuse me, must be tired. I can also afford a larger tractor, so I'm going to probably buy the Fiat today in this episode. And so that's kind of where this episode is. Yeah, we're plowing, and we are making some improvements, but the big things that I want to focus on are getting some more equipment. I want a larger seeder. I don't have to have the largest seeder, but I do want to go through and look at a couple of different ones. I don't need something that's no-till, as much as that would save on time. It's just not necessary. One thing I do want to look at is I want to see what we have that we can sell and make a little bit of cash on. So the main thing would be grass. And the reason I bring that up, that I want to make some money, is because I really want to purchase the cornfield that's in back there. But if I purchase the cornfield, then I've got to purchase a corn header or something to chop the corn with, to make chaff and get it into our silo. But I don't have to go too crazy on something like that just yet, because I don't think it's ready to pull off the field this month. I believe it's next month. Now, what are we going to buy for a tractor? Well, we've already discussed that, and we are going to go with a Fiat. Now, it's another medium tractor, and yes, I know we have plenty of medium tractors already. But when you look through the large tractors, there's not a whole lot that kind of qualifies as vintage, unless you're willing to, go with the big buds, which, I think those are cool and they look great, but I'm not interested. This Alice Chalmers would qualify as vintage as well, but we go through these, and I've looked and looked. This Ford would also, but I like the Alice Chalmers, so we're going to stick with that. Now, yes, there are some other options like this Massey, but again, we have to have the money to buy these things. And while this Lizard would be kind of cool because it does have a 3-point hitch, I don't want another tractor of this style, because I think the one is enough. However, at least it probably has a little bit higher of a towing. Another option would be the this White, which again, do we need another tractor of this style? And while it would be great to have 325 horse, it does allow for a 3-point hitch, but to me, it looks like somebody tried making a tractor into a monster truck, and it just doesn't jive for me. So that in mind, I mean, the small tractors, we've got enough small tractor with the Renault, although I do enjoy some of the other smaller tractors for various reasons. But like I said at the beginning of this, I don't want to go with any of the small tractors that are, or I don't want to go with any brands like Case, Massey, John Deere, Kloss, Fendt. I'm trying to stay away from those. And that's what a lot of these small tractors kind of fall under, with the exception of the Fiats, which Fiats are a great little tractor as well. But, not what we're looking to, not what we're really looking for. These Fiats as well, they're great little options, but not what we're looking for. And there's some other tractors that, we could have looked at. I eventually would love to go with the John Deere 4000. And that's just simply for sentimental reasons. But, maybe we'll do that. And that's the only major brand tractor that I was willing to leave open, was that specific model, just because that's what, when I was growing up, that's what we had on our farm. So I do have, some reservations though about New Holland, and Steyr is one that would probably be okay, but that one is obviously not vintage enough. Yeah, unfortunately, we're just kind of limited as to what we can get and kind of stay within that vintage appeal. Now, some of these older Steyrs, I've used them, and they're a lot of fun, actually. Surprisingly, they do a really good job. I was not familiar with them prior to Farming Simulator, but that has changed over the last couple of years. But let's go ahead. We're going to go back into medium tractors. We're going to pick up the Fiat. I know we could go with this mod or this one, but I want to just stick to this one. I don't think that there's really any difference between the two. Oh, well, maybe there is. This one looks a little bit bigger and beefier. I mean, 160 horse would do everything we needed it to do, and it's a good-looking tractor. I don't necessarily think it's what we... I mean, I kind of like this Fiat a little bit better. It's a little bit more expensive, so it'd be a little more of a realistic ride for us. Just looking to see, this one does not have all of the options though of this one, so I guess that kind of answers it for us. So we are going to go with this one, and we will get the we'll do the hydraulic pistons because it looks better, and we're going to be a little bit vain here. We'll get the front linkage as well, which is something I wanted, and front loader. We'll go with the Stoll, and yeah, I think that will be what we're going to purchase. And we're going to go ahead. We're going to buy that right now, and let's go look for a seeder because. Well, I do need to double check to make sure I still have this guy going. I'm going to have to refill because I only did half the field at a time. So let's go ahead and we'll just finish this a little bit off manually on our own, and then we will go ahead and refill this seeder and move along on our way. Now, I do have a seeder in mind. It's a Eastern European seeder, so it's not terribly expensive. But I have also got a couple others, but I want to try and keep them more of a vintage feel. I think that's very important to me, and so that's why I keep talking about vintage, is because I want to stay in a vintage sort of approach to this playthrough. Now, there we go, load back up, and we'll go ahead and get him over there to do the other half of that field. And having a fourth tractor will actually be really nice, because because it's been, every time I do something, I find that, okay, I can do a little bit more and a little bit more, but then I get, I can't really do a lot with the Elmcreek 440. I mean, it doesn't have 3-point. It's slow. It's more of it's a novelty, really. I just really wanted it, and I love having it. It's not as useful as I wish it was. It'll probably, as time goes on, it'll probably be it'll be more of a yard ornament than it'll be a functional tractor on this farm. Right now it's good because it'll pull just about anything, and that makes it valuable in the regard that the Renault and the Elmcreek just don't have that ability. And if we are going to be stopping with the long-term contracts and grass, then the Renault is going to probably start to really lose value on this farm, because it's only got like 106 horse, so it can't really pull much. And yeah, we could put front linkage and a loader on it, but now that we've just purchased the Fiat and it has all of that, that will likely become the tractor that we wind up getting rid of, even though it's virtually worthless, because it didn't cost much in the first place. We've more than gotten our money's worth out of it, so not going to worry too heavily about the loss. So let's go ahead and we're going to put a worker back on this, and it looks like I gotta go and finish a swipe on this field with this. And the first two things we're going to purchase to go along with our new tractor is a plow and a seeder. And I also want to pick up a planter, and that'll probably eat up almost all of our remaining 44,000. But with us getting a new plow, I'm probably going to return this one and sell it, as I just don't need the extra equipment laying around the farmyard. It just gets in the way, and as vintage as this one looks, it's run its course as far as usefulness on the farm, and it's John Deere, which I love John Deere on a more of a sentimental level, but I'd prefer to not have, like I said, John Deere, Case, Massey, New Holland, Kloss, Fendt equipment. Tractors, it's a no-brainer. I'm not going to have them, but with the exception of the 4,000 I may one day purchase, and I might purchase that to replace this, even though it's got less horsepower than the Renault. Now, but equipment, if I can avoid it, I would like to avoid it. Yeah. So next thing we're going to purchase, once we, well, I guess we can do it while we're driving because it's not going to affect any of that. So we need to get ourselves a new seeder. Now, the seeders were this one here, and I can't pronounce it. It is a Russian brand. So, I mean, not overly enthusiastic about that, but I can't control the branding on them. And as much as I would like to say I can, it's just not possible. It's not feasible. So we will purchase one of those. I mean, I could probably get away with something else if I wanted to spend a little bit more money, but I'm just really looking to get something that's a little bit little bit larger. And I mean, we can look at the other seeders. I mean, this one's not terrible. It is 4 meters. And this is an older vintage style Amazon. And that one would be fine, I think. It requires 110 horse, so I think any of our tractors could pull it. It wouldn't be a big deal, but it is 16,000, so it's up there on our upper limits. I believe this is the one we already have. This is another one that I'd actually considered, but it does drive slower than the others. So yeah, this one's 4 meters, it's 9 miles an hour. This one is 6 meters and 8 miles an hour. So, I mean, I guess I can't really complain too heavily about it. That's actually a pretty good setup. This John Deere is decent, but like I said, I would like to stay away from them. The Lizard here, again, it's decent. It doesn't really have a very large capacity though. This Lizard, which I believe is the same as this one, I don't have the horsepower to run them. This one isn't terrible, but yeah, anything bigger than this 2.5 meter is an improvement, you know. If I don't want to spend a lot, this one's not terrible. Every tractor I have can operate it. It would be a 0.5 meter larger. It would have, you know, twice the capacity tank. This Massey is even wider still, but it has a smaller capacity. And I mean, I guess if I could change its color, I guess it wouldn't be so bad. So the price is definitely right. I mean, we could make it orange, and make it look that way. And you know what? I think that's what I'm going to do. I mean, I don't really want the Massey, but I don't have to have the name on it, and it'll be fine. It doesn't have a huge capacity, but 500 liters should be sufficient. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to purchase that one. All right. Next thing we need to do is I'll probably eventually I'm going to sell this one off, this Nordstern, and we'll probably get another Massey or that Rabe. So next thing I want to get is a planter. And you know, once we've purchased this stuff, then I'm probably going to call it an episode. Yeah. So the planter I'm looking at will be this guy here, this Lizard, and only going with it because it's got that vintage look. It's only tractor I'm going to have that'll run it. It's probably the is most likely the Fiat, but that one I think is what we're going to go with. And that's another $8,000. And the money is quickly dying off. We're down to 31,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drive over. And our D21 might actually pull this planter. I'm hoping it will, but you know, if it doesn't, it doesn't. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to take this back with this, and we'll have a AI guy do that for us, and just driving it back for us. And the old Fiat here, well, we got a couple things we got to get. We want a bigger plow, and I've already sold the old plow, so no turning back. Now, where did it go? I believe it was an Amazon or a Lizard. Yeah, it's this chisel. That's 3.3, that's 5.7. I think it was the 5.7 we wanted, and we wanted it in the Amazon green and orange, so we are going to go ahead and do that. I mean, we could do that, it'd be Christmassy, but you know, we're going to get enough of that here soon enough. So that's going to be 27,000. All right. And look at that. We have basically spent all of our money. Let's give this guy fired up. And one thing I really not a huge fan of on the Fiat, and this one, it needs some weight in the front because this is a very heavy piece of equipment. We're going to have to get a weight, which is fine, whatever, we can do that. Now we're just going to head on out back to the farm, and you can see this thing is faster than any other tractor we own, and it's not even close. So, you know, we'll definitely enjoy having that. And I think that is we'll get back up to the farm here, and we'll kind of pull off to the side with our new equipment, and I guess we can call that an episode. Glad you guys were with us, and I hope you guys will enjoy this video, and please share, like, and subscribe, and leave me some insight. You know, what are you guys liking? What are you guys disliking? I'm hoping that we're growing in the right way. I was foolish though not to keep enough money to pay our loan, so I'm gonna have to sell something now. But with that in mind, I just want to tell you guys to all have a great day, and we will see you again on the next one.